Hi everybody, my name is Christine and I am the owner of Sublime Synergy. So a little background of Sublime Synergy. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for coming to watch the video and tuning in and allowing yourself to become more aware of perhaps the things that you are not so aware of or things that you want to expand your knowledge on. So, Sublime Synergy started out originally as a page called Christine's Pieces, where I started, I think in 2016, and I was learning how to wire wrap jewelry, and I got really into it, and I really enjoyed doing it, and I love learning about stones and the metaphysical healing properties of them. And I decided to start selling them, and it went really well for a long time, and it's still going really well. But I ended up deciding to venture more into the tarot readings and the inspirational ideas and posts and videos. And so, I'm still making necklaces. I'm wearing one right now. It's a heated amethyst. But I don't necessarily focus just on that now. I like to expand into tarot readings, and for those of you that don't follow me on my Instagram, weekly I do these collective consciousness readings. So it's basically a broad overview of the energetic shifts that are happening within humanity and within all of consciousness, and how those shifts are affecting us energetically throughout the week, and how we can prepare for them, how we can understand what impact they have on us. And they impact everybody to different extents, but it is that we are all affected by this energetic shift that are constantly happening. So I decided to rename my business Sublime Synergy, and I focus more now on tarot readings, and I wanted to venture out and start doing videos on YouTube just to talk about ideas I have or things that I just want to share with people. So today I wanted to discuss responsible choice and effective personal action, and I'll explain on more of what that means in a little bit. So first, I just wanted to address the idea of taking responsibility for your actions and being responsible in your own life. So I believe that we are granted the opportunity for responsible choice when we become aware of our faults and habitual patterns. We are allowed the chance for conscious change and internal empowerment when we recognize the need for change at the moment of its conception. So, what does that mean? Let's put this into terms that we can comprehend, and I'd like to give you a personal example, not necessarily me, not necessarily that, word for word this is what's happened in my life, but it's something that has affected me, and I think the primary concept of the issue that I'm about to address is something that's underlying throughout many people's lives. So let's say you grew up thinking that interrupting people while in conversation was the norm, and everybody did it, and in any conversation that you had with your family growing up, you were always interrupting one another. And you didn't value the words spoken by other individuals as equal to your own. There was always screaming in your household and yelling over one another, and no one was ever truly listening to each other. There was a lot of talking and, bickering, but no one was ever truly listening to what the other people have to say. And let's say that you assume this to be as normal as any other family. You assume that other families are always yelling at each other and no one's really listening, and there's never really a conversation, it's more just two people yelling at each other. So let's say as time passed and you grew into adulthood, your friends would begin to become annoyed with your insistent interruptions and interjections and things like that. And you would become confused as to why you would start to lose friends, or the people that you thought to be your friends would begin to drift away from you, and you would soon lose contact with them. So you begin to blame it on external factors, considering you have no reason to think that you did anything wrong. And in your mind, you care about your friends, and you would never wish to make them feel badly or, try to hurt them intentionally in any way. So you figure it must be external and that they must have issues in their lives that they need to figure out. So one day, let's say, a friend comments that you seem to always interrupt people in conversation, and that their opinions do not feel valued in conversation with you. And it seems like you're just talking at other people to get your point across without ever considering the other person's point. So you're taken aback, you realize, you'd never realized that this is a problem that you've had your whole life, or for a very long time. And you realize that many of your friends have probably drifted due to this issue of disregarding others' opinions and interjecting your own before they even have the chance to speak. So you realize you must have been doing something wrong, and you're embarrassed and confused and frustrated and maybe even angry with yourself. Now here's the time when responsible choice and internal responsibility and internal personal power come into play. In reality, you have two options in a situation like this. In a situation where you're coming to terms with an issue that you have maybe been dealing with for a long time and you haven't even realized that it was an issue. So maybe you haven't really even been dealing with it. You've just been behaving this certain way or thinking this way or, doing these things that in reality you had no conscious awareness that you were even doing it. So now you have two options on how to deal with this. So the first option is to blame anybody except yourself. Anybody other than yourself. So maybe, they don't understand the way that your family is, or you iterate that this is the way that you were raised, and, you explain to your friend that you've always had conversations this way, and your family taught you that there was, nothing wrong with this behavior. And this is how you've just always spoken with your siblings, your family, your relatives, and you just can't help it. You simply can't help it. And your ego fights to stay on top, and you refuse to remain embarrassed over something that you simply, couldn't help. So essentially you run away from the responsibility placed upon you to change and to grow. You shut the door on an opportunity that had presented itself to you to change yourself. So the second option is to acknowledge your wrongdoing. You realize that, you've been stuck in this pattern, in this incessant pattern for a long time. And you realize that you've actually hurt people in your wrongdoings. You realize you've lost friends. You apologize to your friend after being made aware of this behavior that you've had for a long time. You recognize within yourself the embarrassment and desire to change. So you take responsibility for your wrongdoings and blame nobody but yourself. Although this is a behavior that you've inherited from your family and that you've learned from people above you, you blame no one but yourself. The point of the matter is that you take responsibility for your behavior when you are made aware of that it's causing other people harm or causing other people, to feel bad about themselves and feel like you're inhibiting other people's wanting to express themselves. It inhibits your growth as a person to not accept this responsibility and accept it as an opportunity for change. This understanding of responsible choice is key to growth and learning. After understanding the reality behind your rude behavior, you begin to consciously take the steps to change yourself. You begin to consciously change how you react to people and discuss matters with people. You take the time to listen. You hold back when other people are expressing their own views instead of immediately interjecting on your own expressions. You allow others to speak freely, unhindered by your own interjections. And you're always welcome to speak, but you realize that it's crucial to also allow others to speak, simply because their views are just as worthy as yours to be heard. So this idea of responsible choice and effective action is crucial in understanding personal growth. This principle is crucial to know so that we can understand that we cannot grow when we are not the creator of our realities. When we are not making the conscious effort to make a change in our own lives, even after understanding our faults and understanding that maybe a particular behavior is affecting somebody negatively, when we understand that it's time to change that action, even if it means confronting pain and confronting embarrassment and confronting, things that you haven't dealt with maybe for a long time, or things that you've suppressed. When you do this, it allows you to step into your power, and it truly is empowering to be able to make your own decisions and understand that it is nobody else's choice but yours to change your life for the better and to change yourself for the better. So I think this is something that we can all integrate into our own lives every day. Obviously nobody's perfect. I have a lot of trouble doing this in my everyday life, but I think it's important to at least acknowledge that it is our responsibility to change ourselves and nobody else, and that blaming external factors for your own wrongdoings is not helping anybody. It is deflecting your pain and your insecurities onto other things. And that gets us nowhere except digs us further into this hole of self-victimization, and it just inhibits us. It inhibits us from stepping into our power and becoming who we truly need to be. So I think that's it for this video. If you would like, I'm gonna share my Instagram and Facebook links in the description below. I hope to be doing this more often, maybe twice a week or so, however often. I'm trying to expand my own self and my own capabilities and step into my own power by acknowledging my faults in feeling socially uncomfortable in front of a camera and in front of people. So I think this is something that is going to help me as much as I hope that it helps all of you guys watching. So make sure to subscribe so you know when my next videos are, and I will talk to you guys soon.